Yes, hello. I am James Rowland. Today it's the WNR556. It's AEW Dynasty. I'm not alone. I have a pleasure to be joined by the entire WNR team. Up first by my side for every WWE and AEW show. It is the fantastic Jaxie Scarlett. How's it going, Jaxie?
Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Ready for another AEW session. How's it going?
I'm all right. I thought you actually said wacka wacka, and I was gonna like you're gonna try a new intro.
No, I'm not going for that Crash Bandicoot sort of sound, you know. It was just a welcome, welcome.
So it's AEW. We're in more familiar grounds. Of course, the last show was New Japan. So are we looking forward to Dynasty?
I mean, we'll get there. Looking forward to is probably a bit of an overstatement, I would say, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
I always got the tough questions. Up next, our resident NXT expert and New Japan demigod. It is Monty. How's it going, man?
Going awesome, man. It's awesome. Like you mentioned, just caught up on New Japan, and I actually got a chance to catch up and watch Windy City Ride. So I'm doing pretty good on that front. And yeah, I mean, always cool to be back, talk about AEW. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The short answer to your earlier question was just no. She could have just said no. Like you heard the hesitation. She wanted to say no. But anyway, yeah, man, I'm excited to be here. And yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. It's always interesting to see where everybody lands on AEW because between the internet and between a couple of my friends who watch AEW now, it's always interesting to see what people think because I get a wide array of complaints. Some people love everything they do, some people hate it. So it's nice to see not only where you guys see it, but to give my 2 cents too. So these are always
Without,
cool.
without a doubt. And last but by no means least, a boom, boom, boom. Now let me hear you say whale. Oh, come on, guys. I'd set you up for that one. Are we working together on this? Do you want me to try again? And then we can all go. All right? Because
Oh no,
sometimes.
you're not putting us
You're the only
into
No,
one
no,
who
no,
into
no.
wants
All I
him
arguments
to
want.
here.
sing.
I just. No,
Uh-uh.
no. I just want to hear a whale. That's all I want to hear. All right, guys? That's please, please. I don't ask for much. All right? That's all I want.
Yes.
Are we ready? Boom, boom, boom. Let me say whale.
Well,
Well,
Oh,
fuck
that's
you,
perfect.
Monty. That was
never
that was
again,
aimed at
never
you
again.
Well,
too.
you need to join Monty. Ready? And me say boom, boom, boom. Let everybody say whale.
Well.
Hey, girl, your booty is so round. I just wanna play around. Let me take you
That's
one
why I
more
didn't want
time.
to do
I
it.
won't stop until you're mine. But if I cannot be with you, maybe I could have a taste. Put your arms around me, girl, and your kisses on my face. And boom, boom, boom. Let me say whale.
Well,
Let me
Well,
say boom, boom, boom. Let me say whale.
well,
well.
well.
Yeah. See, that's how everybody does it. Well done, guys.
Are we done?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Hi, Gina. How's it going?
My God, why do I feel like a child whose parent has just forced them to go to dance class or something? And really didn't sign up for this, but my parent is forcing me to.
This is why I did not ask before we started.
Well,
But how are you?
Mm,
How are you, Gina? Looking
I'm
forward to
good.
Dynasty?
I'm looking forward to this pod, but I'm also highly irritated ahead of this pod, which we will get into. But yes, it's going to be a very interesting, and I want to say balanced review here. I just more mean it's going to be good and bad. Pre-warning you
Oh,
all now.
okay. At least that's good to know, I suppose. Well, like you said, today is all about AEW with Dynasty, but first we've got Dynamite and Collision. Notes and Collision. Ricochet cheated to beat Shibata in the Battle of the Marks. Davis beat Briscoe. Megan Bain beat Thunder Rose. FTR beat Undisputed Kingdom. Yep. Dynamite, Ricochet, and Speedball pinned Davis with Orange Cassidy was in the match. It will be a triple threat at Dynasty to face Omega. Jaxie, we were finding out who was going to win. Ended up being a triple threat match. But again, what were your
Mm.
thoughts on this? What were your thoughts on Speedball as well? Because I know you're still getting used to him.
Yeah, I don't really have much thoughts on Speedball yet. Do you know what it is? I think it's because we've not really seen much backstage promo work of him yet. So I find it really like discerning to like kind of make what I want to make of his character. I'm not sure yet. I'm still just kind of confused by him, if I'm truly honest, and sort of the like persona he's bringing across. So, I mean, if he's going to be a permanent regular within AEW, I'm sure that will unfold. But, apart from like, his high flying aesthetics that he's got in the ring, aesthetics that he does have in the ring, I don't have much of an opinion on him as of yet. I kind of saw this turning into a triple threat, being like, okay, so maybe they don't want like Kenny or Ricochet pinned, so maybe Speedball's being brought in to take the pin. I don't know, but that was kind of like sort of why I thought it became a triple threat. I wasn't like overly excited at it becoming a triple threat rather than a one-on-one match at Dynasty, but I also wasn't fussed or excited even more for the match either. It just kind of felt like it was rushed together, like this tournament, in order to give a match at Dynasty rather than there needing to be one at this stage,
Yeah, well, that Tony's Khan booking, isn't it? So anyway, we've got Mercedes Moné retain the TBS title versus Billy Starks, and then the AEW World Championship Street Fight, John Moxley versus Cope. Both men brutalized each other. It was a step up from the pay-per-view counter, but then again, anything really fucking could be. Outside interference as well. Marina Shafir came out for the save. Willa Nightingale took her out. Kip Sabian distracted Cope for Wayneswell for Nick Wayne, followed by a Bulldog choke for the knockout. And afterwards, Dax refused. But the main talking point from this was the back shot of Spike onto Moxley. Gina, I mean, again, we can talk about the match, but I mean, holy fucking shit about this spot.
Yeah. Wait, which one?
The spike in the back of the fucking back of Moxley.
My God, do you know what? I slightly had that spoiled for me thanks to Instagram, and I'm very, very glad that I did have that part spoiled for me because A, I pre-warned Jax ahead of time because she's quite squeamish. And B, that's the most terrifying thing I've seen on wrestling TV. It's just the way that they were trying to pull it out and you saw his skin stretching out with it. Oh, it's gross. It's even making my toes curl as I talk about it now. Yeah, it was just one of the most painful things I've actually witnessed on live television.
Yeah, it was hard to watch, like you said. I mean, did anybody think this was entertaining or worthwhile with the spot? Because I just thought it was
Absolutely not.
No, I didn't think it was worthwhile. Monty, I mean, I know he probably takes this from the hardcore wrestling in Japan and stuff, but do we really need it nowadays?
I mean, no. I mean, some people, I guess, might still enjoy stuff like that. I don't. I think mostly what I thought about it was like I know that they're shitting on your reign, Mox, but like you're like the greatest AEW World Champion in history. You are who you are at this point, and I'm just based off like what you've done in the company. You're older. You don't need to do this. That's mostly my thought process. Like I understand if you're young, hungry. Like Mick Foley did a lot of crazy stuff to make a name for himself, and other people do a lot of stuff to make a name for themselves. But for Mox at this stage of his career, like you mentioned in this match, I understand that the last match got shitted on and it deserved it, and your reign has been getting not in the highest regards, but I don't really understand the point. We know you're a tough SOB. Everybody know Mox is tough, so I don't understand the point of the spot from that point of view either. It's just like I don't even get. As a matter of fact, I understand what Swerve and Hangman did to each other, and some of that stuff I didn't need either. But I understood that way more because at least it was hatred there. This, I don't. Yeah, I don't. It just felt like for the sake of doing it, and like I said, I don't think Moxley at this stage of his career needs to prove anything.
Yeah, without doubt. Ospreay beat AR Fox, and it's not often we can say Will was in the worst match of the night. In the main event, Megan Bain beat Chris Statlander after the result. Storm taped her right fist and brawled with a Megasis. When the fish broke it up, the Time Storm grabbed the mic and challenged Bain for Dynasty. And Jax, again, it's nice to see someone else get an opportunity, I suppose. Megan Bain has come in and will face the undoubtedly number one in the women's division.
Yeah, I mean, ever since like she's debuted, like she's really been pushed well. I do think again, going back to like the promo work, it would be nice to kind of get a bit more of her personality out. To see kind of like how well she does on the mic. But I mean, in the ring, she's impressive, So I was excited to kind of see like sort of what challenge she would bring to this division for sure.
Yeah, it's nice to see two women's matches, but it doesn't make up for Revolution. Collision, Cole Garcia ended in a 20-minute draw. Death Riders defended the titles versus Top Flight in AR Fox. And Julie Hart bested Queen Aminata. And Monty, it's quite simple. More of this. Just give us what's good. And we saw a series between, these women. Maybe not for anything, but again, Phil Stevie time and it's worthwhile.
Right, and I think that goes back to like uh basically the last point that was made about Megan Bain when it comes to like character development, even with Mike Bailey. You know what I mean? Just sometimes you get more development, for, especially in AEW, you get more development from these characters in these feuds like that. At least from my point of view, that's how they try to tell certain stories, if you know what I mean. And I like that. I just like you said, the involvement of the rest of the division and just being more consistent with it. I mean, it's hard to develop. It's hard to really like certain characters as much as you want to if you know you're only going to see them. You're going to see them 3 straight weeks this month, but next month you might not see them at all. It's really tough to get some real consistency out of it. So but I can't complain when they give you, like you said, they give you the variety, they give you what they want because they have, as you see in situations like this, they have talent, valuable talent on that roster. And I've been saying this from the start. I don't know what the plans is in the future is for Queen Aminata, but I do believe that if they're smart about it, AEW has money with Queen Aminata, future champion in their either one TBS, whatever division you want to give her the belt in, she can be that one of those people because she has it in the ring. It's all about drawing people in and getting people to believe in her as a character. And the only way you can do that is, like I said, being used more consistently. And the same thing can be said for the Julia Harts and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, this is, like you said, this is more of what you want to see. But like I always say about AEW, can we consistently count on getting it? And like I say, you never really know week to week.
Yeah, without doubt. On Dynamite, Carl Fletcher got back to winning ways down in Brody King. Everything seems fine with rated FTR. Takeshita beat Mark Briscoe in the main event. Thunder Tits lost to Penelope Ford and Megan Bain. On Collision, Jay White beat Kevin Knight, who is all elite now. And Gina, it's nice to see Kevin Knight. We've seen a bit of him, of course, in New Japan. But the bad news from this was Jay White's injury, which is a shame, seeing as looks like he was just about to start going again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Knight, I have seen a couple of times in the New Japan scene, so it was nice to see him come over. It was nice to see him work with Will Ospreay. It was also nice to see him go against Will Ospreay. I think it's been a good start to introduce him if they are looking to make Kevin Knight a regular um, wrestler on AEW TV. So he's definitely been showcased well so far. Um, who else were we talking about?
The Jay
Kevin
White
Knight.
injury.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gutted because for me, Jay White's time was starting now, and so for him to just go off like this again, it feels like another Adam Cole situation in a way where he was just getting hot and then that's it, he's off again. So it sucks to know that Jay White is off injured again, especially because we haven't seen the Ass Boys in a while. We haven't seen Juice in a while because Juice has been injured. So it's just sad because I really like their little faction and it's been entertainment on AEW. So it is going to be sad to see Jay White go because he is so good on the mic as well.
Yeah, but you are right though. They are cursed, aren't they? Like I said, the Arse Boys and Jay White. Jeez, just can't
Yeah,
catch
it
a
must be
break.
something. Someone's poisoning them backstage. Check catering.
Check Benny Gunn. So Mercedes Moné beat Robin Renegade. It was a good match, but she announced herself for the Owen Hart Cup afterwards. Athena arrived and Jaxie, this is what we want. And again, I don't want to give spoilers, but I thought this is a pay-per-view level match. Looks like we're actually going to get this on a Dynamite, but potentially these two could meet.
Oh hell yeah. I mean, I got super excited hearing her music drop. Like, this is a dream match waiting to happen. So, like even the aspect of like getting this not on a pay-per-view event, just on normal TV was quite a shock to me. And I thought they'd try and build it up more, but either way, I was not complaining.
Down and Dynamite, the show started with fighters Willow Nightingale and Swerve Strickland met Marina Shafir and John Moxley. They brawled all over the place and Willow took out Moxley and Plant interfered with a babe bomb for the win. Afterwards, Moxley laid out Willow with a power arm shift. And to be fair, and I don't normally say this, but Monty, this was actually a really good opener and maybe showing the value of intergender wrestling, as long as we don't go too far.
Yeah, it's levels. I honestly don't think they even really scratched the surface of where they could go with it. But I thought it was really cool. I thought again, just I like tornado tag matches in general. I think sometimes WWE or other companies in the past have gotten too bogged down by just deciding to do regular tags. I think the energy of a tornado match, as you can tell with this opener, was really good for even people like Marina and Moxley, who are more methodical. Where the tornado kind of makes you pick up the pace, and I think they match Willow and Swear's energy perfectly. And then, like you mentioned, even the few interactions between the different sexes, I thought were done well. But also, in my opinion, too, just like the idea. Like again, I'm one of those people who watching, and a few times we've seen it with like Jay White and all that, but like watching so far with the Death Riders, letting Marina Shafir just kind of be unstoppable because of these unwritten rules. And I get it, of course, but at the same time, it's like she is literally the difference a lot of times. And it's like if somebody just had the balls to do what Moxley didn't think twice about doing to Willow. And as I know I'm supposed to hate Moxley for it, but it was still kind of cool to see it done because again, it's one of those things you don't see often. I think intergender wrestling is something that can be incorporated into wrestling if done correctly and does if it's not done all the time, obviously. And so yeah, I thought they did a good job here. And like you said, the opener set a great pace for the go home show. I thought, or the go home Dynamite before Dynasty, and yeah, man. I also, again, this is one of those situations where I'm not trying to. I love Willow, so I'm not saying I love watching her get dropped on her head, but it was cool. It was that was like one of the best Moxley moments that he's kind of had in a while, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree. Don't look Tony Storm. She made Penelope Ford pay. The Owen Hart Foundation tournament brackets were revealed for the men and the women. On the men's side, Kevin Knight took Jay White's spot again and will face Will Ospreay. And then the wildcard entrant will face Hangman Adam Page. On the women's side, Thunder Rose versus Chris Statlander, Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart. I mean, Gina, the Owen Hart Cup, I know it's meant to be important now because, of course, the winners getting a shot at All In. But would you think it'd be fair to say the women's Owen Hart looked a lot better than the men's this year?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I don't know whether it's because the women's storylines are just carrying at the moment anyway. So with the matches they've got lined up is helping to bleed into some of their storylines. But either way, I would say that I am more interested in the women's tournament than the men's, just at this moment in time that we're talking about, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, I definitely feel like they need to not rework the men's, but I think they need to consider who needs to be in this tournament and who doesn't need to be in this tournament. Sometimes I feel like some wrestlers are put into the tournament more because of the status of their name rather than whether they actually need to be showcased in the cup or not. You know?
Yeah. Without a doubt, I completely agree. I don't know. The own heart, I'm just like, oh, okay, right, here we go. Let's see what happens. But like I said, the women's side for me is really shining at the moment. The Ospreay and Moné match will be on Dynasty. Knight and Ospreay defeated Christian and Johnson. Brody King beat Lance Archer in a big meat match. And fuck Cope and Claudio. Cope hit a low blow and a spear to win the real main event segment. Swerve Strickland marched backstage till Hangman Adam Page confronted him. Mogul admitted he deserved it after calling out the Cowboy for burning his house down. So he walked away. John Moxley threw Swerve through glass. Death Riders dragged him to the ring, and the Mogul stood up with glass in his back, defiant to the end. Jaxie, this was a strong statement to show Swerve's toughness.
No, definitely. Yeah, like this was a way to put over Swerve to be like, yeah, this is champion material right here. This is who everyone wants to get behind. And it was like an excellent booking. He looked good, he looked fresh. And that is exactly what you want going into like a pay-per-view event.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And then Collision, Takeshita and Fletcher beat Ishii, and Hobbs Pac beat Cash Wheeler. Believe it or not, this was Cash's only his sixth televised singles match since appearing on television more than, I think, 10 years ago now on NXT. It's only his sixth singles match. Anyway, in the main event, Monet and Harley Cameron lost to Judy Hart and Athena in a fun match. So April 6th, then Dynasty were here with a 0 hour, which is actually 90 minutes. RJ, Renee, and Double J talked for the first 30 minutes. And Madison Rain joined the panel. Remember her? And then the first match, Wayne, Rush, and Andretti taken on AR Fox, Dante, and Darius. Kip Sabian, Mother Wayne were by Nick's side. Lily Gray was at ringside for Top Flight and Fox. Mama Wayne pushed Fox off the ropes to give Nick the chance to hit his finisher for the win. Rush and Drake seemed to have some sort of issue with Nick after the match, but I didn't really care. So we'll start. Monty, what were your thoughts on this one?
You talking about the 6-man tag?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to make sure it was on 0 hour. This was kind of cool, man. I think honestly, they came out there, and if you just go off the actual wrestling in the match, I felt like they came out there and I guess they realized the pre-show wouldn't have a lot to offer this time, so they was like, we're just gonna go out there and go very, very hard, especially for something that has no build. Really, I just thought everybody had time to look good. And I just thought it was a really good trios match. Nick Wayne impressed. I haven't really got a chance. I mean, I know about him obviously with the Christian storytelling and all that type of stuff they've been doing, but honestly, I haven't really looked at him wrestling wise. So it was really cool to kind of watch him go out there and really, really give a good performance. And then of course AR Fox he always does pretty well. It's very entertaining though. I don't want to go and say it was like too great. I saw some people saying that they tried to go out there for like a 5-star pace, but I really do think for like a good 10 minutes they just went out there and threw everything they could at you. So if you don't really like that style, I can see you not liking this match. But really, overall, I honestly don't see how I don't see how you didn't come away from this at least genuinely entertained, because I thought everybody did good.
What would you score it?
I give it 4.
Give it a 4 to start off. Gina, what were your thoughts and what's your score?
Yeah, my thoughts are pretty similar to Monty's. I gave it a 4 as well. It was quite good, and I think it showcased what a lot of them can do. They're all quite high flyer in a way, and so it was very entertaining. Woke everybody up to, expect a explosive show. So that's what they did for me.
No doubt. Jaxie?
Yeah, my thoughts exactly the same score.
So 4 there. I'm going to give it 3 3/4. Predictions, they're on our Prediction League 2025. After Revolution, we've had no other show since, believe it or not. Bonus League, Monty on 12. I'm on 11, Jaxie 10, and Gina on 8. WWE, Monty and Jaxie are on 2. James Jr. 1, and AEW, Jaxie James on 0, Monty Gina on 1. So we need to win today, Jaxie. It's not about us, though. But anyway, all on Wayne, all got Wayne, all on 1. Athena joined the panel, and then Max Caster came out for an open challenge. The lights went out for a surprise opponent, and Anthony Bowens came out with Billy Gunn, with new entrance music and new gear to a huge prop. The pride of pro wrestling took to his former tag team partner and hit a spinning haymaker to get the win in about a minute. This was the definition of a squash, but the crowd did love it. Gina, what were your thoughts?
I mean, I'll admit that I was very shocked that it was Anthony Bowens, because I kind of forgot about him, not in a horrible way, but I did kind of forget about him. So I didn't know if this was going to be an introduction of another New Japan person, or just someone that they're wanting to elevate or something. So for me, I wasn't expecting much when it came to the opponent. I already knew Max Caster's losing this regardless. Like, I'm just going with whoever the opponent is. But when I did hear the music drop, it was quite nice. It felt like very refreshing for them to try and finish off this storyline of Max betraying Anthony Bowens and their tag team partnership. And I, again, because I had forgotten about Anthony Bowens, it was nice to be reminded, oh, actually, who would be the perfect person on a pay-per-view to put Max in his place, his ex-partner who he betrayed. So yeah, I thought it wrapped up quite nicely. It was nice to see him back. I'm glad it didn't go for too long because I don't think it needed to. I think he just needed his ass whooped and then moved on, and that's what it did. So yeah, I thought it was a good match. I was happy to see Anthony Bowens back. I gave it a 3 3/4.
3 3/4, yeah. And the thing is, as well, Jaxie, I'm going to get your score, but the pop for Bowens was great as well. And like I said, like Gina said, it feels like we did all forget about him, and we were happy to see him, though.
Yeah. Again, I think that you guys kind of pointed out all of the right points here. This worked well, especially being placed on a pay-per-view because of who the opponent ended up being. This was a perfect way to sort of like finish telling their story as Gina said, and really kind of showcase that next step for Anthony Bowens to take in terms of his singles career. This was really solidifying them splitting up as a tag team, and Anthony Bowens really got a great response at not only his return, but him being the opponent. So, who knows? Maybe there'll be like a TNT title opportunity for him at some point. I don't know. But, it looks like there's good things in Anthony Bowens' future right now. I don't think the same could be said for Max Caster. So we'll see what's to come from him.
Yeah,
But I
like
mean, I think that
who did he piss off?
everyone. So
Yep,
yeah, I think
everyone.
yeah, I have no doubt he pissed off at everyone. So yeah, in my opinion, I think that this was the story told right. I feel like this tied up loose ends. And now this, really things can really focus on Anthony Bowens and his singles career. I thought it was good. It like my sister said, the length wasn't too bad either of the match, and it did what it needed to do. So 3 3/4 feels fitting.
3 3/4, Monty.
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. It's a great cap to like the acclaimed whole kind of angle, and I don't know how I feel about a rolling elbow as the finish, but I guess I can get behind it. I don't mind it, even though I feel like I see a bunch of those every night, especially in AEW. You see a bunch of high impact strikes, so it's funny to see that as a finish. But hey, who knows? I'm pretty sure he'll add more to the repertoire as he have an actual match. This wasn't really a match.
Better than a roll up then, isn't it?
Right. Exactly. So
Not the
I don't
big
know.
package of Tony, but sorry, you can't continue.
Yeah, so I'm excited for him though. I actually like the pride angle. I like I like what I like the fact that he already basically on social media was saying the championship was what you mentioned the TNT title. I think that's basically what he's targeting. So that's pretty cool that that they kind of already have single sided aspirations for him. So I'm excited to see how far he can take it and how will they actually continue this? Will this be a stop and start thing like Daniel Garcia and others, or will they just keep the momentum flowing? It'd be interesting to see. As far as Max Caster goes, I'm pretty sure he's probably gonna go away for a little while, but I didn't hate the whole delusional gimmick he has. I just don't know if he have any serious aspirations in general. I don't know if I feel like he might just be that from now on, especially in AEW, a not so serious type of character. So we'll see. We'll see what happened for both of them. But yeah, this was a good little kind of like angle. I'll give it 3.5. I don't really know how to rate it. It wasn't really a fight, but it was good moment, great moment, and great to see Bowens back.
Yeah, without a doubt. I gave it 3 3/4. Predictions, not Max, all on 2. Main show, the main card opened with the first Owen Hart Cup match of the night as Ospreay took on AEW's newest signing, Kevin Knight. Knight came close to winning several times, but Hidden Blade put him down for the 3 count. Jaxie, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, again, this was a great opening match. There's so much hype behind Will Ospreay that in terms of like getting the crowd like sort of riled up and just really hyped. This was a good placement. I thought the match itself was really good. I felt like Kevin Knight really kind of showcased himself well against Will Ospreay. Um, I I just also felt like this also could have been just placed on like a Dynamite as a main event sort of thing. I think we'll go into the discussion on like the length of the pay-per-view itself shortly. But I mean, going into this sort of podcast, I'm sort of reviewing things that really needed to be on this pay-per-view. And as much as I thought it was a good opening event or match, again, this could have just been like the main event of a Dynamite or a Collision. And I would have been happy with that, not really trying to downplay the wrestlers themselves, but really kind of the booking. I mean, overall, this was good. I didn't want to put both wrestlers down. I'll give it a 4.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and Monty, you know me, I'm not a pessimist, but this match doesn't matter unless Will Ospreay wins the Owen Hart tournament now. Does it? Because it's on pay-per-view. Otherwise, it's just a pointless match.
Yeah, and I think that's probably. I mean, I think we probably can presume that it will. Maybe you can still entertain. I think Hangman or whatever is still involved, but Hangman got a lot of other stuff going on, so who knows? But yeah, so Osprey, I agree with you. I think honestly, and I think this is the thing. It's like it's one of those things where it's like I love it for Kevin Knight. I love it from a showcase perspective because they put him in the ring with someone who is pretty much universally viewed as the best, if or one of the best in the world. And then I love it for that and just like giving Kevin Knight the spotlight. And again, I just hope that leads to better and good booking continuously for him. But I also think at the same time, I can love the match and love the competitiveness and think at the end of the day, as a matter of fact, we'll get to another match later. I kind of felt like this, even though it kind of had more story to that one, but it was still a tournament match. And the point is that would you prefer an actual angle paid off here instead in Dynasty instead of a tournament match just for the sake of a tournament match? Even if it's a great tournament match, it doesn't change the fact that it's just a match. And like I say, it did a good job. It was an opener, and it did a good job to get people excited. But that's the conundrum you kind of run with when you throw the Owen Hart in there. I know we know that the Owen Hart tournament is important, but what is the extra angle here to invest people other than the fact that these are two awesome athletes? Because I love Kevin Knight and you watch enough Kevin Knight, but we also, whether you know him or not, you don't expect him to beat Ospreay here. So you kind of got that going against it too. So again, you can appreciate the athletes and say that they did some great wrestling, which they did, but it does, begs to ask that question of would it be more valuable to actually have an angle on a pay per view like this instead of just a respectful quarterfinal tournament match?
I think the issue as well, and Gina, I mean, again, we have discussed Jay White with the injury, and maybe Dynasty was affected by it. But if this was Jay White and Will Ospreay, then it might have been even bigger. But again, with Kevin Knight, no offense to him for just coming in, this is just like you said, a showcase, but it's still a good way to start the show. And JR seemed to enjoy it on commentary. Good for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree with everything that both Monty and Jack said. I think it was a great match. It could have been on Dynamite. It was a quarterfinal show. There wasn't really any storyline behind um Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight, which is absolutely fine. But because there was no added extra of that storyline behind, that there was no reason to have this match on the show. The only reason this match was on the show was to have a Will Ospreay match, like somewhere in here, so they could have him on the match card. And I get it. He's a hot commodity. All fans want to see him, but sometimes, just think about time and whether it's needed or necessary. I will admit that no one kind of went into this match thinking it was going to be Kevin Knight getting the win over Will Ospreay. Had it been Jay White going into this match, I would have questioned a lot because of the history those two have, the storyline they probably would have built up to this match as well, just rehashing some of that history and the beef between him and Jay White. There would have been a lot more uncertainty going into this match, hence why the status is elevated to a pay-per-view level match in my eyes. Whereas the Kevin Knight one, he just tagged with him. We could see there was good respect between them both. And don't get me wrong, I do like matches sometimes between two respectful wrestlers and them showing each other respect at the end. I can appreciate that, but I just don't think it was needed for like a pay-per-view level match when you've already got such a stacked match card. So yeah, I again completely agree with the statements the other made. It's not that we didn't enjoy this match, it's just we could have done this on a show, normal televised show, I mean.
Excellent points. So Jack's got your score. So Monty, what would you give it out of 5?
I'll give it 4.25.
4.25. And Gina?
Yeah, I gave it a 4.
Yeah, I gave it a 4 as well. Predictions, we all went well, so all on 3. The AEW Tag Team Championships on the line when Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin faced the Redwood and the Bad Apple. Keith opted to tag in Bill right away so the two powerhouses to square off to get things going. Managed to send Lashley out the ring so MVP regrouped with his team. MJF appeared in the crowd and hit Bill with his diamond ring. Benjamin Lashley didn't look too happy to see him, but they set the focus on the Bad Apple, and the Hurt Syndicate scored the win with an easy German suplex and the spear. Monty, what were your thoughts on this?
It was fine. This is another one of them things where it's like I'm happy to see. This is one of the things that kind of showcases the problem with the tag division. I love the Hurt Syndicate, but they're not. I honestly don't think they're threatened by the learning trees, even with Big Bill there and Brian Keith. I thought this was solid stuff. It could have been a lot better, to be honest, overall. But I think that again, it's just one of those situations. I feel like every show we get to the tag matches, and it's just like, okay, all right, cool. It's not really anything to get excited about. It's nothing really that memorable. Like to me, if the most memorable thing is Max popping up in the crowd and doing the thing he did, like me chuckling at that, is kind of like the best thing I can come from it. Is kind of like that kind of tells the story to me that it really wasn't much here. And they tried. I watched every Dynamite and seen that they trying to build something, some tension between Big Bill and Brian Keith and Bob and Shelton. But to me, I don't think the chemistry was there in the ring, and I don't think they felt like threats outside of it either. But that's just my 2 cents on it. And again, I think we need to get some serious threats in the tag division. The most interesting thing going on right now with this is Max's trying to get in of the Hurt Syndicate. So I don't know what, maybe that'll end up paying off and being kind of cool. I don't know how I feel about that quite yet either anyway. But the match itself was definitely a Dynamite type of match, but wasn't a good Dynamite type of match to me. So unfortunately, this is another thing in this show that I was like, okay, that was cool. What's next?
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Again, we spoke about it so many times now with the focus of the tag team division now being MJF, or again, there's no
Right.
teams. This should have been Cage and Archer, But I'm going to take some positives away. And Gina, one positive from this: how great is it to see Shelton Benjamin again regularly, and how good does he look?
Cool.
I was watching him 22 years ago. Gina, I'm an old man.
No, honestly, even me and Jax were talking during this match and just saying how peak Shelton looks and that he still looks like he's, in his prime for wrestling. And it's crazy how he's been wrestling for as long as he has. He's been on our TVs for as long as he has and not been as utilized as well as he could have been, because we're seeing such amazing work from him still today as if he was working 20 years ago. It's just crazy how good he looks, and I'm just super happy that he's on our screens. Again, I was going to say, who was it that they were originally meant to face?
Brian Cage and Lance Archer, but Cage was injured.
I mean, so going back to what like Monty is saying about this match, I know that Big Bill and Brian Keith kind of replaced those two because of they weren't able to face them anymore. So in a way, because that this match has more been thrown together because their original opponents weren't available, you already kind of go into this thinking, okay, we're just going to showcase how good Bobby and Shelton look together, But then even when you think about the tag team of Lance Archer and Brian Cage, don't get me wrong, they are two big, beefy motherfuckers. But did we really think that they were going to go into this tag match winning the belts off of the Hurt Business? No, not really. So just like Monty said, it does feel like there is dire need for actual competition within that tag division, which is crazy because a few years ago Dynamite and AEW itself was known for how stacked its tag division was, and it no longer is in my eyes, especially with the loss of like veterans like Penta and Ray Fenix. But regardless, the match was good. Shelton and Bobby looked amazing. It was nice to see the kind of, big square off between Big Bill and Bobby, but ultimately we all kind of went into this match knowing that they're not going to lose to Big Bill and Brian Keith. No offense. So, yeah, it was a good match. But again, it's like, okay, well, if your original match wasn't available because they've gone injured, maybe this could have also been one that could have not been shown on the card, or at least. Actually, I'm not going to say this part. I'm gonna save this part until we talk more later in the show, and then I'll bring this up again.
All right.
So, yeah, there's more I wish to say on this, but I'll bring it up later.
That's fine. But I mean, again, maybe people have been a bit too negative. Jaxie, long-term storytelling in AEW. Big Bill finally got his tag team title rematch. You see, Tony Khan is paying attention. I mean, his former partner is now NXT North American champion. But I mean, forget about that.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't really have much more to say on this than what both my sister and Monty have already pointed out. But this really did feel like a match that should have just been kept for Dynamite or Collision. It's not that I didn't enjoy it, but again, with this continuous discussion about the length of this pay-per-view, this felt completely a bit unnecessary. And again, I don't think that there was any expectation for a loss in this match. And that's not to discredit Brian Keith or Big Bill. But again, as you said, their original opponents were not meant to be Big Bill and Brian Keith. So that made it all the more easier for us to be like, well, okay, this is, again, to showcase the tag champs, which is fine, but we already knew they'd dominate. So, yeah, it kind of felt pointless. It was enjoyable, but it just kind of like took up time. So, yeah, it did what it needed to do. But
Right.
everyone's made valid points,
Right, Dale. So scores then. Monty, what would you give this out of 5?
I don't want to be too harsh, so I'll give it 3.5.
3.5. Gina?
I thought it was still a good match, and again, I'm still curious to see where this MJF story and angle is going. So I'll give it a 4.
Give it a 4. And Jaxie?
I'll give it a 3.5.
Yeah, and I'm going to give it 3.5 as well. Predictions all went Hurt, so we are all on 4. Owen Hart Cup, Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart next. Hart looked unimpressed with the CEO as they got started. Moné got an ease up to block a moonsault, but couldn't get the win. Hart hit a few important counters that allowed her to keep the TBS champion on defense. The crowd was heavily behind Hart, but Moné was able to pin her with a unique combination to advance into the tournament. Gina, what were your thoughts on this?
I mean, I enjoyed this match. I think this is Monet versus Hart 2 or 3. We've seen them go against each other once before. So I was intrigued to see how their next match was going to go against each other. I enjoyed it. I think they both had great spots to showcase, that they're both quite dominant, and they both were able to show why they were both in this match, and it was elevated. I love the hatred that they had for each other, and I love the fact that the crowd is behind Julia, even though technically Julia comes off as a heel character too in some ways. So yeah, it's just interesting to see the dynamic. The crowd just really disliked Monet, put it that way. But they were still cheering for the match, and I think they were all very well entertained. I thought it was a great match from both women. And again, I've been more invested in the women's tournament cup than I have the men's. So for me, I was more intrigued with this match than I was, for example, Kevin and Will. But again, regardless, it was a great match.
I agree. I enjoyed it, but I found out something weird. Jackson, I don't know what you think about this, but I thought it's weird how Monet is against AEW talent. Just kind of like AEW talent, whether it be homegrown, Britt Baker, or obviously with Judy Hart, compared to New Japan or maybe more polished wrestlers. And that's not a knock at Monet or Hart, but do you know what I mean by that? This seemed maybe a little bit off and not up to standards that Monet has set on pay-per-view recently.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I looked at it that way until you just kind of rightly pointed that out. I kind of just did look at it as if, Monet's going through sort of AEW focused roster, you know. But I've never really kind of looked at it in some sort of negative way. I feel like this match was good, and there was like, you know, some good points about both of them having like, you know, great spots. There was like great hype coming for Julia, which I really enjoyed hearing from the crowd. But again, I'm really just being that stickler of, could this have been moved to like a sort of a Dynamite or Collision, with the fact of, again, probably going back to your original question that you just asked me, which is like, you know, shouldn't she be going up, Mercedes, like on her sort of level of expertise, be going against, you know, harder talent maybe, or so to speak, rather than sort of like more of the younger junior division. So this again was one of those matches where for me it felt like it was going to be a good showcase between both women, but ultimately was always going to go in favor of Mercedes. But yeah, it was still a good match overall.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. I mean, it's more of a case of like, you know, especially if you're just trained in AEW, the live shows and the experience working there compared to maybe elsewhere. But like you said,
Yeah.
the first hour could have been the Dynamite Go Home show, and maybe should have been, you know. So it kind of makes sense for that. I mean, Monty, what are your thoughts on this? Because again, it's like, wow, they really. Julia Hart was really hot at one point. I know she got the injury, but they never really recovered, do they? Look at Thunder Rosa, look at Jamie Hayter, and now kind of Julia Hart. And I'm sure she'll get there at some point, but it's just weird, isn't it?
Yeah, the good thing with Julia is she got time, and like you said, the fans definitely still are behind her, and you know they're still there for her. So I think that's the one thing that was the best part of this match was Mercedes kind of letting Julia get that adulation and build up that hope. Even though I think, just like mentioned earlier, no one probably thought she would real seriously win. That the fact that the fans cared enough or wanted her to win so bad, you know, you can say it's because of Mercedes heel work, but at the same time, it's due to her popularity. But to your point, James, you're not necessarily wrong. I think like the best AEW homegrown matches that Mercedes has had so far is obviously with Chris Statlander, and then of course her chemistry with Willow was pretty good too. But Willow has also been around the world, so you know you kind of can give or take that. But yeah, so it's interesting, it's really interesting. I mean, I guess you can wait. We can wait and see how things continue to go in that regard. But yeah, I think in this match, a lot of I just really got to get this out because I don't understand the narrative. But like, I understand that some people may not like Mercedes, and I come to the same conclusion about Charlotte at times too, and not to even mention her right now. But like, my point is that sometimes they get so much unfair hate to where it's like I don't understand how you can like some people literally can look at a match like this and be like, oh, Mercedes is using her power in AEW to win this because she's really not good. But if you watch the match, Mercedes is literally carrying Julia and making Julia look much better than she would without. So I don't get the narrative behind some situations. Like I get it, you cannot like somebody, but to sit around and act like Mercedes is not on the upper tier, or if not the top tier of women's wrestling ever, with her track record and some of the things not only she's done at AEW, but obviously in her history, I think it's just ridiculous to me. And I thought she really carried Julia and made Julia look great here. And I feel like you can come away from this match. If you got a major positive from this match, is you can come away from this match with hope of Julia only getting better because of experiences like this. So overall, I thought it was a solid match. It wasn't Mercedes' best work, you know, and I'm not the type of person to go like if somebody mess up or go a little slow or a botch happen. I hate when fans get so into it to where they feel like they can tell people to do it. Trust me, I was working out the other day and I'm still sore right now. I couldn't do half the shit that these people do or even think about it. So I'm never going to fix my lips to tell anybody how to do their job. But Mercedes is one of the best, and I thought she did a good job of helping with the investment because, again, it's easy to sit here and be like, oh, man, you know, Mercedes is this, Mercedes is that. But she could have just phoned it in and no one would have believed Julia had a chance. But they kept at it, they worked, and then they got to the point where the people thought Julia could still win this match. And some people were disappointed that they didn't let Julia win this match. So yeah, man, I thought it was really expertly done from that point of view. So yeah, it was really good to me. Was it necessary here? It's kind of what I said earlier about the tournament matches. Give or take, probably not, because it wasn't really much heat or much anger or much of a real story here. But they did a good job in the match, if you ask me.
Oh, I'll be wishing for this match in a couple of matches' time, without a doubt. So scores out of 5. Then Gina starts off. Hartman A, what are you going to give it?
I still enjoyed it, so I'll give him a 4.
Give it a 4. Jaxie?
Yeah, 4 sounds about right.
And Monty?
3 3/4.
I'm going to give it 3 3/4 as well. Predictions all went Monday, so we're all on 5. The Jurors Championships were up for grabs when Willie Uta, Pac, and Claudio defended the belts against Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, and Cope. Once the youngest Death Rider tagged in, Cope and FTR kept him cornered so they could dish out as much punishment as possible. There was a weird moment when Harwood seemingly stole a tag from Cope, but he single-handedly took out all 3 Death Riders until we ended up with all 6 men holding each other in submissions. But Uta got the win for his team with a Bicycle knee to Harwood. Death Riders made their way out while rated FTR tried to recover. After they posed together, Harwood hit Cope with a power drive out of nowhere and then grabbed 2 chairs. He set up Cope for concerto, but he wanted Wheeler to do it. He refused, but then helped Harwood hit their finisher. They spiked Cope with a power drive on the chair and finished off for concerto, for good measure, I suppose. Jaxie, I mean, we could talk about the trios title, we could talk about this match as well, but the FTR heel turn was desperately needed, and fuck Cope, really.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, but when I say this, because it's not meant to probably sound as harsh as it will, but this is exactly what needed to happen. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the Death Riders really just need to relinquish all the gold that they've been holding. There is just too much. They are quite irritating, and I'm very much over every single one of them. However, in this situation, I don't know, even going into this match with the hype that like sort of FTR and Edge had, but like, having that sort of inner sort of issues between Cash and Dax at the beginning, just something felt off about them being the ones to take the belts off of the Death Riders and liberate the Death Riders, because it just felt like there's shit going on with them too, and this is what needed to happen. What's really sad, I felt really bad, was that the whole entire crowd got so hyped the moment Dax did that, almost like they all wanted it to happen. And that must not be a nice feeling for Cope. But I'm really sorry, Cope. You've had so many chances, at gold, at championships, and kind of every sort of group that you've worked with has kind of turned on you. It's almost like a curse now. So I'm sorry that happened, but this change up was needed for FTR as well. I think that their characters were becoming maybe a little bit stagnant, and I didn't know what direction they were going to be taking. But this was one of the matches where I felt like there was great significance and a reason to be on this pay-per-view. So ultimately this outcome was necessary, but just quite strict, quite harsh.
Yeah, but like I said, this was worthwhile to be on the pay-per-view because actually something worthwhile did happen.
Exactly.
I have had weird dreams before of you and Gina doing this to me, because again, sometimes...
it could happen. It could happen.
And again, I think we'd all admit that Cash is the Gina of FTR. I mean, Gina, you would think twice before smashing my brains in, wouldn't you? Come on, give me that.
I mean, yeah, I definitely would be Cash in this situation. Jax would possibly upset you in one moment, and I'll kind of question her and we'll cough and be like, what's going through your damn head? And then next thing I know, she's lifting you up in the air, and the only thing I can do is, bring you back down with the 1D.
No, I completely understand it. I'm completely, it's fair. And Monty, we just need Nick Wayne to turn on Christian, and then we can have Edge and Christian as a tag team that we've always wanted. That babyface run, eh?
Yeah, but I honestly think after the crowd cheered for me getting my neck broke, I think I might as well just join Christian family or whatever. You know what I mean? We might as well just heal it up together. Screw these people. FTR turned heel. just to get cheered again. Honestly, right at this point. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because that was the way I was thinking. I don't mind Cope because I grew up a John Cena fan, guys. So honestly, all of this Cope sympathy, I don't really got much of it because like he turned on everybody. He ruined the under. I never forget when
Look what he did to his dad.
Right. Look what he did to Cena dad. He also I never forgive him for Kofi. No, was that Punk in the Elimination Chamber or was that Edge? It doesn't matter. Either way, go. Edge definitely did more than enough of his deed because, like, when he did stuff with Undertaker that led to their Hell in the Cell blow off, like, trust me, I've always kind of like when Edge did more than enough in his prime days to deserve a lot of the stuff that's coming. And then now as a babyface or whatever, as an elder statesman to barely lose post retirement once. Yeah, it's kind of tough to defend him right now. But what I will say is it's hilarious that you say she's Cash because Cash may have been hesitant at first, but he also was the one who put the neck brace on and started taunting him.
Oh, I know that. Oh, I know that. I'm
so
not
Gina's gonna taunt you
yeah.
afterwards. she's gonna taunt you after she drop you. She's gonna go.
I also apologize in advance for that.
Yeah,
Okay,
she'll hold me and say, "Sing me a song, sing me a
I'm
song."
just
That would
heated
be
in the moment. If I'm gonna go for it with the
You're gonna go
betrayal,
for
I'm
it.
gonna
You
go
all in.
100%.
Right. I got you. I support that. Actually. So yeah, no, but the Death Riders retaining here, I think you broke it down earlier perfectly. Like the reason why it just didn't make sense to me for rated FTR to do anything with these championships is that right now if anything has been proven in AEW, you will not take down the Death Riders or Moxley when you got your own shit going on. It just won't work. If you got other stuff going on, you don't have a chance. So that's kind of how I looked at it going into it, and that's kind of how it played out. But I'm with you, James. I think everybody can see that now the plan is aligned, and eventually Christian and Cope will have to get together. And honestly, I don't really like that name, so I'm just gonna keep calling them Edge and Christian in my mind. Y'all can say what you want, but they're gonna have to
it'll
get
be
back together.
the double
It gotta happen.
C's. Yeah, double C's or CC.
Yeah,
They'll
it
come up with a
works,
catchy
but
name.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't like. I just hope just don't work, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. We'll see. Coping Cage. But yeah, so I don't know, man. I think that'll be fun though. That's not that. I will say that remember when we talking about the tag division? Add a heel FTR. That's a threat to the Hurts and Syndicate. Add a Christian and Cope back together. That's a threat. So if that's what this is leading to us possibly fleshing out that tag division, hell, even something that'll happen later on could help out the tag division eventually whenever they decide to do it. So yeah, man, if that's what we're going, I'm down for that. So hopefully that's the plan. But even if we don't go completely there yet, it's still some good stories to be told just with FTR and double C's. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that down. So scores out of 5. Jaxie, what are you going to give it?
I'll give this a 4.25.
4.25. Monty?
Yeah, I think the moment helps the match to me. The match was good too, but I'm gonna give it 4.25 also.
4.25. And Gina, anything else to add in your score?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go 4.25 solely for the fact of the heel turn.
Our predictions, we went Death Riders all on 6. The AEW Women's Championship with next Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne. Megan Bayne had Penelope Ford by her side for support, but don't worry, Luther accompanied Storm as he usually does. Bayne used a significant size and power advantage to push the champion around for a while, but at the time as well made a comeback and hit a huge crossbody for a 2 count. Ford tripped the champion and helped her friend regain the upper hand. The Megasis threw Storm around like she was nothing to show off, and Luther carried Ford away so she couldn't interfere anymore, but that didn't stop Bayne from continuing to dominate most of the action. The challenger looked unstoppable near the end, but the big package from Toni Storm made Toni retain the title, but made Megan look good in defeat. Monty, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, somebody who's a big fan of Megan and Stardom for numerous reasons, besides the wrestling, by the way. But she got better as a wrestler as time went on. She got way better as the time. By the time her Stardom run was over, she was challenging for the world title there. So you can already kind of see that she was on a trajectory. So I've loved everything they've decided to do so far with the Megases, because she looks unique, she's awesome, and I think that's I literally seriously, because only thing that was making me go against the grain and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna stick with Tony, was because I didn't think the narrative was strong enough for Megan. But if you decided to just kill Tony Storm off here with like a dominant type, Brock Lesnar versus The Rock type of victory back in the day for Megan Bayne, it would have made complete sense, because that's how dominant she is and can be in this division with her size and strength and everything she can bring to the table. So I was really excited for her, in a similar way that things worked out for Mariah May. I think they kind of the same vein when it comes to like working in stardom, building up your repertoire and your name in Japan, and then coming to AEW and trying to make a name for yourself. The only difference is here, Mariah had more of a narrative. There's not much of a narrative here. You just want to let her come in and dominate. So we'll see. I can see Megan possibly definitely becoming a champion in the future. But I definitely was entertaining, like, dang, maybe you have Megan win here, and that'll be just something that people don't expect, maybe. And but they did end up making her look good in defeat. And so I get it, but it's just like, for my predictions, I'm happy because I stuck with Tony. But for like as a fan and like what I probably would have wanted to see here, it would have been cool to kind of have a fresh someone just come in and dominate a Tony Storm, and then you set up a new era. But maybe Dynasty isn't the place for that. Who knows? Maybe they want to wait and do it later. And Tony, you never know when Tony's gonna actually fire the gun and go with the chain. So. But it was cool. It was cool. It was a good match. I thought Tony Storm did a really good job of making Megan Bayne look like $1 million, like kind of in the same vein with Mercedes here. So I give it overall like 4 stars. I thought it was cool. Great women's title match. Could have been even a step level better, but I don't mind it, even though I feel like they could have went a little bit harder and actually, you know what I mean, like tried to do something risky. But I can't be mad at this result either.
No, but I think the thing is as well, and Gina, I think with Monty's point, I think the reason why it made maybe more sense Megan Bayne actually getting the win is because Tony Storm is untouchable. And like we said, is undoubtedly number one. So even a defeat here against someone as powerful as Megan Bayne, she'll recover from that. Do you know what I mean? Tony Storm's not going to lose anything.
Yeah, to be honest, Tony Storm is quite over that. I think even if she did lose the belt here to Megan, I don't think that would have hurt her in any way, shape, or form. They could have even, pulled off the angle of the added, tomfoolery with Penelope coming in. They could have, had the distraction with Luther, maybe even have a Luther turn. I don't know. Not really a Luther turn, actually, because he's part of Tony's persona. But let's just say, like, they could have done the other angle and it still would not have damaged Tony. That's my point here. But Megan has been showcased really well since joining AEW, so it is kind of a shock to see her lose this big match. I also don't think it hurts her in a way because she still looks so powerful, but you do kind of question, like, how did she beat her still? Because Megan just seems like the She-Hulk at this point, doesn't she? She's like kind of like rammed her way through almost every female on the roster. And yeah, obviously it's elevated Tony to a point that she's, this big champion that not even Megan Bayne can break. But yeah, it was still a shock. I think it would have been nice to see Megan win it, but ultimately I didn't think she would because Tony's only recently won the belt back.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. And again, Megan Bayne's made Penelope Ford interesting, so that is definitely something, But again, Jaxie, it's difficult, as we've seen even with Moxley and stuff like that. It's trying to get people on Tony Storm's level. So even if his performance, hopefully, like even with Monty was saying, maybe a couple months down the line, Megan will be considered an even bigger threat to Tony Storm's title.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of valid points that we've all brought up in this match, and I think very similarly to it. I think overall the match was great, and both wrestlers were showcased really well. But ultimately, I felt like it just came down to Tony has only just sort of won this belt back, and with how popular and hype she is right now, I'm not sure whether or not Tony was willing to take that risk of putting it on someone as new as Megan Bain, even being sort of like portrayed as the undefeatable powerhouse that she is. But I do still think that she comes across formidable towards all other wrestlers right now. Even with taking this loss to Tony. I'm kind of intrigued to see where things are going to go for her at this point, and in what direction they'll take, because they seem to do this a lot where they really hype up some sort of new wrestler, new upcoming young wrestler, have them lose a pretty important match, against a veteran, which kind of like, is expected. They've got that first opportunity as the sort of young upcoming star, but then they kind of like fall off the face of the earth, almost like kind of their momentum drops. So I really hope that doesn't actually happen with Megan, but we'll see what's in store for her coming up.
No, but excellent point, and it's something that is to be noticed. Even with someone like a Kevin Knight or Speedball Mike Bailey, talk about the men's division of new signings coming in. How many pay-per-view matches will they have, towards the end of the year? Will they end up in Ring of Honor? And that's the problem as well. It's kind of new toys being on show. What would you score it, Jaxie, this matchup?
I still think it was a good match between both women. So I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 4 as well, because I still think that both women looked really great in the match itself. And again, this match did feel like it warranted to be on the match card.
Yeah, without a doubt. Gina, what would you score it?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 4 as well.
Yeah, 4 all round then. A prediction went Tony, so we're all on 7. Owen Hart Cup, Mark Briscoe versus Cole Fletcher next. The Proto Star hit his trademark turnbuckle brainbuster to get the win and even scored 2-2 in their feud. But more importantly for some, advanced in the Owen Hart tournament. Gina, I mean, if you watch pay-per-views, then I suppose it helps because Fletcher gets his win back from Revolution. Apart from that, this is just another match that could have been elsewhere.
This just needed to be on a house weekly show. This did not. I don't believe. Do you know what? Going back on what I said about the earlier match between Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight, I don't think any quarterfinal matches need to be on a pay-per-view event. If it's the semi-final or the finals and there's big storylines, so like I said with the Will Ospreay match, if it was a Jay White match and they were in the semi-finals, then maybe that would warrant, the status of a pay-per-view match rather than a house show match. This did not need to be on the match card. This one, like I with the Will Ospreay one, I can understand it in one way because Will was such a big name. Everybody's like, I've paid to see Will Ospreay tonight, please give me him. But no one's going to complain that they're not seeing Kyle Fletcher. No offense. Or, don't get me wrong. I like Kyle Fletcher. I actually am a bit of a fan of his. So I'm not in any way, shape, or form like condoning any of these two wrestlers and stuff. But for me, a quarterfinal tournament match just doesn't need to be on a match card, especially when the match card is stacked. If you're stuck for matches on a match card, fine. But you weren't stuck for matches. It just didn't need to be on here. So yeah, for me, it was a pretty pointless match to be on the match card, but I still enjoyed it because I do have a bias and likeness towards Kyle Fletcher at the moment.
Yeah, but I think you make an excellent point. And Jackson, I don't know if you agree, but you said it was obviously about the match time. And when it's such a long show, we like Fletcher, we like Briscoe, but we start resenting them because they're taking up another fucking 20 minutes of time, even though the match was good. Fletcher tried to kill Briscoe a few times, but at this point, I was just like, fuck me, come on.
Exactly. I think that this match definitely is one of the matches I'd say that went on a bit too long than like necessarily needed to be. But I have all the exact same thoughts and feelings as my sister has just pointed out towards this match. I do believe that this did not need to be on the match card. At this point, I was getting a little bit irritable of watching the event, because it was along this point as well that I was really feeling the fatigue of okay, come on, let's move on to the next match. It just kind of felt like it was a bit never ending, this one. So, I mean, I'm glad that it's, again, like picking up a win for Kyle Fletcher. Again, going back to my point about sort of new up and coming talent, maybe taking an important L and then not continuing with their push and stuff. Like Kyle Fletcher is sort of like, they're doing well with so far in portraying and booking. But again, really unnecessary to be on this match card.
Yeah, without a doubt. Monty, anything positive from this match?
The crazy thing about that is that I think this is on Tony Khan, because I thought the wrestling in the match was incredible. Like, it was actually one of the strongest matches, just going off wrestling, in my opinion, of the night. The thing is like you said, you're watching this long show, it's at least 4 more matches left. So it's like, besides this, so it's like, we know we got a lot more still to go. They're out here trying to kill each other. All those other matches that we just talked about earlier that were quarterfinals didn't feel like it had stakes. Well, they were like 10 minutes, and they felt like they didn't belong here. You add another 5, 6, 7 minutes with this match, so now you're just sitting there like, oh my god, it's still not over. Like they like you mentioned, he's still trying to kill Bliscoe. Like, what's going on? And it's just like, and then like with Fletcher too, it's kind of like what I was saying about Ospreay a little bit when it comes to his style. It's like Fletcher and Ospreay's style are one of those. They go hard or go home. They're gonna give you one of those, marathon, very physical contests almost every time, especially on pay-per-view. So if you're already getting fatigued from the show and you got 4 matches, and then you have to sit through some, just another, even though it's competitive, even though it's cool, the stuff he's doing, after a while, like you mentioned, with their placement on the card, having 4 matches left, you're going to be like, all right, man, okay, well, I get it. Let's get through. And then again, it's another situation where I can make the case for every one of these tournament matches. We kind of knew who was probably going to win. So that was the problem. And I think that's kind of takes away from the match. But the wrestling, in my opinion, was really good. Like, they really did great. So it's kind of a shame that Tony making these 12, 14 match cards or whatever. And, now you got me complaining about a good match that was 15 plus minutes just because I know we got 4, 15 plus match minutes. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
We got
the main event
left.
Yeah,
Right.
2 main events coming up are going to be half hour each. Like you said, that already. So
exactly. So yeah, it's insane when you think about it that way. I think this is more so, as much as I would like to rag on the wrestlers, this is just as much as anything you can blame them for. This is really on the way Tony decided to book and stack some of these cards, because it's like, all right, Tony. Sometimes enough is enough. Like, we all love wrestling. Everybody here love it, but in one sitting, you can only do so much sometimes, So yeah. It's tough. All
right. So scores then, Gina. What would you give this out of 5?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
3.5. Jaxie?
I'll give it a 3 3/4.
See, Monty, that's what I'm telling you. Like, this is a good match, but because we're just so drained at this point, do you know what I mean? What would you give it?
I'm giving it a 4 just because I think the wrestling was so good. I can't give it less than it, but I understand 3.5, 3.75 because of the pacing.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4, but again, like I said, this is hard work, especially what was coming up as well. Predictions, you went Fletcher, we're all on 8, and then the Ring of Honor World title was on the line when Jericho took on Bandido. But that wasn't the only prize up for grabs. Bandido also put his mask on the line, so he had more to lose than most challengers. Keith showed up and Gravity arrived to fight him off. The ref was distracted, and Jericho was able to use his bat to hit Bandido for the pin. Bandido's family told Aubrey Edwards about Jericho using the bat, and that led to the referee calling for the match to be restarted. Bandido immediately hit Jericho with a boot to the face, followed by his finisher for the pin and the win. Jaxie, I don't care.
I'm so glad you said that, because neither do I.
Good.
Again, with where this match was placed in the match card, I do not respect creative for putting this match in. I didn't care. I really didn't. Please, why couldn't this be on a Collision? Like this, again, this was one of the very top matches that really I did not care to see on this match card. And it's for the Ring of Honor title, TV title. But go to Ring of Honor and do it there. Like, no one cares. I didn't care for this match. So that's my opinion.
No, this isn't Ring of Honor. I mean, Monty, does this make AEW titles more exciting by getting this match on there? Like, I don't just think of that.
Honestly, it was, first of all, they weren't really sure they were gonna actually have this match. You know, apparently AEW was having problems with Bandito's representation or whatever, or like just problems getting this whole match. Look, I don't know if the Bandito protested possibly getting his mask taken or whatever. Who knows the real details? I'm gonna let you know what I think. Honestly, how many pre-shows we watched, guys, and it's only been 2 matches. Not that many of them. I truly believe this match was supposed to be the last match on the pre-show, and Jericho was like, "I'm Chris Jericho. You gotta have me on the main pay-per-view." I don't know that to be true. That might not be true at all.
If that's
But
the case, fuck you, Chris Jericho.
like, I don't know that to be true. That's probably
Monty's
not true
just
at
talking
all.
shit about Jericho, yeah. Hang
Right,
on.
but I'm just saying, would that surprise anybody if we found out that was why? Because you can't
Not
really
really,
explain
no.
to me why the hell is this late in the show. Because explain to me why is this late in the show. Wouldn't this be much better for the buy-in to just get it out the way and say Jericho was there and he did what he had to do? But
That
I
would have been
get it.
preferable.
Yeah, because at this point, is anybody buying AEW pay-per-views at this point singularly thinking about Chris Jericho? Just explain it to me. I don't think it's any hardcore or not hardcore AEW fan saying, you know what? I'm gonna buy these AEW pay-per-views because I want to see Chris Jericho.
I've not seen enough Jericho. Yeah, I've just
Right. Who is still saying that right in 2025? Nobody. So yeah, man, to me, I don't know if that to be true. I might just be giving some more slander towards Jericho's name. If that's true, I'm sorry. But at the same time, doesn't that sound believable? Because you can't explain. I've never seen a 2-match buy-in from Tony. They usually threw it to at least 3 matches on there. And then, like I said, this match just feels so out of place. You talk about the tournament matches. This felt even more out of place. So yeah, man, I'm just happy. Like I wrote in my prediction, I'm just happy that they did not take that man mask away from Jericho. Thank goodness. The fact that I was even entertaining it just show you how much we've lost the plot when it comes to the Chris Jericho angles in this company. So I'm so happy Judas announced the tour. Peace out.
Yeah, without doubt.
Please go on tour, Jericho.
Gina, can you explain something to me, right? So if I go out with my mum and my sister, right, the way I am now, and I hug them in public, people start laughing at me rather than cheering. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong with Bandito. Should I be wearing a mask? Because I understand.
Possibly.
You know what I'm saying? I get it, but I don't know why I should care about Bandito. You like your family.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think because Bandido is not hyped as much on AEW TV, or he is in sort of some of those matches that like people don't really take seriously. It was just hard to really care for this match. I think what I've read about a lot of the complaints ahead of this match is them even just having the stipulation of Bandido losing his mask, because again, for luchadors, it's such a big deal with their masks. And so I think that's one of the issues. They just didn't even want it to be a stipulation that he could possibly lose his mask. And in a way, how many times have we seen an ending happen that was a dirty ending that the ref didn't see, and the wrestler's mom and sister didn't come running out saying, "Ref, no, ref, this happened." So again, I know they did it for the shock factor of the possibility of Bandido losing that mask. But it was never going to happen because they wouldn't look, in my eyes, they should not be looking to disrespect the luchador way of wrestling in that sense. So yeah, it's just a difficult one because nobody wanted Jericho to win. It did make everybody panic because we were like, how the hell are you going to let Jericho win this match? So we're grateful to his mom and sister for contesting, and we're also grateful that Aubrey Edwards hates Jericho with a passion, that she decided to listen to the protests and say, no, we're recalling the match. This didn't need to be on this match card, though. If you're going to put it on the main match card, you should have put it after Will Ospreay's match or something. I don't know, like totally at the front of the match card, because no one cared about this match, and
Yeah, get it out the
it
way.
just shouldn't have even
Yeah.
made it. Yeah.
Yeah, without a
So
doubt.
I didn't care.
I mean, one way they could have done it is have Jericho beat Bandido, Bandido unmasked, but it's gravity. You see? And then, he's unmasked Gravity, not Bandido. So then Bandido, who's dressed as Gravity, can then pin Jericho. See? I mean, why didn't not do that?
Not confusing at all.
Jackson, what would you score this?
I just don't care for this match.
Come back, Jackson. It's fine.
Two and a half.
Fine.
Two and a half.
It's fine.
2.5.
It's fine. We're going to move on, mate. We're going to move on. Monday.
I'm a big Bandito fan. 3.25.
Gina.
3.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3 as well. Prediction, we went Bandido through all on 9. Up next, there were no time limits, and nobody else was allowed near the ring for the TNT title match between Cole and Garcia. To be fair, the neckbreaker Cole hit on the steel steps was wild. Garcia attempted to pile drive from the middle rope, but Cole made a desperate counter that set him up for a Panama Sunrise. He hit 2 in a row, followed by a running knee for the pin to become your new TNT champion. Offered Garcia a handshake, and Garcia took it and raised his hand. Great stuff. Yeah, really good. Monty, what were your thoughts on this? Adam Cole's first title in AEW.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's probably the best thing to come out of this match. To be honest, it's just that, yay, Adam Cole won the title in AEW. I'm happy for him. He's a good guy. Love Adam Cole. Match, though, disappointing to me, man. I don't know. Maybe I hyped it a little bit more than it should have been in my mind. But, I mean, think about, if you know Adam Cole from pre-WWE, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest Ring of Honor world champions of all time. He has that, on his record. And then we know what he did in NXT and, like, what he was, at the time. And I know I know there's been an injury, but like in trios, acting, to be fair to them, you kind of get protected in those trios matches. So maybe that's probably what this was, because this was a big stage, big one-on-one match. Adam Cole kind of has to get the kinks worked out. I don't want to say it was all him, because I just didn't think they had great chemistry, even with Daniel Garcia. And overall, my disappointment ain't really just with this match, because maybe it's just me. Maybe I thought made way too highly of both guys and thought this would be way better than it was, but that could just be on me. My other disappointment is just not only what the TNT title feels like, it doesn't really feel like this means much other than, yay, Adam Cole's first singles title. I'm hoping for the best. And then second of all, Daniel Garcia's entire run was just a disappointment. We all rode the train of Daniel Garcia, getting him basically to that point of finally becoming a champion and earning some respect and earning a spot in AEW. And like you mentioned earlier, James, with other talents, it has completely cooled off, and it's hard to care about much of anything that they've been doing when it comes to the TNT title and when it comes to Daniel Garcia. So optimistically, hopefully Adam Cole can add some fire, add something to that division that I don't even know if it's really a division at this point, because can you name 2 or 3 other people who was interested in the TNT title before this match? I can't. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm disappointed for Daniel Garcia, because I was hoping that this year could be like a big thing for him, and it's not over yet. And then when it comes to Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia, the match, I was disappointed overall in the match. I just thought that it was fine, but again, not a pay-per-view worthy title change, type of energy of a match to me. I thought it was good, but definitely wasn't. Maybe I just overestimated. But yeah, so yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, I went through it with a different approach. Gina, do you remember when Adam Cole mattered? When was the last time Adam Cole actually mattered? Was it the first All In? Was it even before that?
I don't really remember, if I'm truly honest.
When was the last time the TNT title mattered? Is that Darby Allin? Is it after that? I mean, what are we doing here?
I kind of want to say it was Darby Allin, just because he went through it feels like he went through loads of trials and tribulations to get that TNT belt. But
I think
to be
Samoa
honest,
Joe.
the most memorable TNT champion for me is still going to be Brody.
Yeah, think about that. Oh my God, think about that. Wow. Yeah, besides Cody and him, yeah, who else?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, but and again, I mean, Jaxie, would a Adam Cole heel turn work? Are people
Mhm.
invested enough in it? Because he just seems a bit. I love Adam Cole, but he just on TV seems a bit whiny.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, to be honest, I don't know which one is the right choice at this moment in time, whether or not he should be heel or face. Um, it just kind of feels like he's just like there right now, and yeah, he's just been given this title. I think if he didn't win this title, to be honest, like he would have felt even more irrelevant. So I'm not really sure which direction they should take him, and whether or not like we see him maybe do a heel turn, break away from Roderick and uh Kyle, and maybe join the FTR. I don't know, like uh, I don't know. I knew this was coming. I knew this was going to be the outcome of this match because something needed to like become of significance for Adam Cole. Um, but I just kind of don't know what direction he needs to take to kind of feel like as relevant as he felt when he was Adam Cole in NXT. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this was a great match, and I think Daniel Garcia like had some really good moments in it. You could tell that the crowd were kind of like evenly between both wrestlers, but yeah, I just don't know which direction he should take at this moment to kind of like keep that momentum.
Interesting times ahead. So scores out of 5. And then Monty, what would you give it?
3 3/4.
Three
Oh,
and three
Danny.
quarters. Yeah. Gina.
Yeah, I mean, I am really pleased for Adam Cole to get his first belt in AEW. It's got to be a massive win for him. But I think one of the issues that I had is if they possibly didn't have the first match between Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia and Adam Cole didn't lose to him, then maybe this match would have felt more impactful. But I think because we had part one already and so soon, I think it was just a bit, oh, here we go again, round two sort of thing, rather than having a long time span between the two matches, you know? And I think that really hindered it. So for that reason, I am going to go 3 3/4.
3 3/4. Jaxie.
Yeah, just as my sister said, I just think that like having the first match before and it end the way it did just really kind of was a cop out for already knowing, oh, well, you just want this title change to actually happen on a pay-per-view event. So that's all that sort of first showcase match was really, so that it would put people on sort of a hype level to be like, okay, round two, let's see whether or not he could do it. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
3.5. I'm going to give it 3 3/4. Predictions all went cold, so we're all on 10 as we head to Kenny Omega versus Ricochet versus Mike Bailey for the international title. They packed a lot of action into this match, but only one man was ever going to leave with a title around his waist. I can add to this credit because, again, this actually felt like one of the very first actual pay-per-view worthy matches on the show. So just go watch it. It's that good. Omega hit Ricochet with a one-winged angel for the winners. Omega was celebrating. Kazuchika Okada came to the ring. And, of course, AEW is going to build up for a hopefully unification match between the two. Gina, what were your thoughts on this? Because this, again, was really good.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you just said, I don't think what we're going to say can do this match justice. I think me and Jax watched this match and we actually restarted it part way through because it was just so good and so much was happening. We kept kind of rewinding a couple of frames just to like make sure we were seeing what we were seeing. We're like, screw it, let's just start the match again because it's that good. So please do go watch it yourselves if you watch any. Like James said, this felt like a pay-per-view worthy of the match card. It was so hyped from beginning to end. I will admit that the more I see of Mike Bailey, the more I do like him. So like when I very first saw him, I thought, yeah, he's good, but I don't see what the hype is about. And the more I see him, the more I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the match. He's very entertaining to watch. I don't know what he's like promo skills wise, but
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see him going forward, you know. But this match was just so good from beginning to end.
Yeah, I think the trick with Speedball is just keep him wrestling, you know, and I think he can do that, even if it's like TNT title level, something like that. I think he's proven his worth, and I think Ricochet was really good in this. But again, Jaxie, this was kind of like the Kenny Omega show, you know, 30 minutes, not including entrances for the matchup, but Kenny is such a big part. And it's great to see him back on AEW pay-per-views, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Again, this is one of the matches that I did note down to say, a decent match to be on the pay-per-view. It really did give off that sort of high definition type of high caliber match that you expect to see on a pay-per-view event. And not only that, it really sort of elevated not just Kenny Omega, but the other wrestlers that were involved in this ring in the match too. Exactly what I kind of had mentioned previously about Speedball. I was like quite shocked to see Ricochet take the pin here, because again, that I mentioned this earlier about Speedball. I felt like that ended in and turned into a triple threat match because they maybe wanted to protect Ricochet and actually have Speedball take the pin. So I was very surprised that it was Ricochet, but it was just excellent, well executed. This was one of those matches that you really can't take your eyes off of, otherwise you're going to miss at least one moment within the match. It is one that is worth going back and watching. If you're going to watch anything on the match card, definitely consider this one.
I mean, Monty, we've seen many a great triple threat match. My only issue with this is maybe it was two singles matches, but again, for 30 minutes, you have to kind of interchange as it went along. And I thought the finish was great as well.
Yeah, I give them props too. Like you mentioned, for 30 minutes, didn't really feel like, because they did a good job of just keeping things going and keeping the pace going. And then sometimes the triple threat match, I do kind of like that when you have a moment in the match where it feels like just two separate one-on-one. But you're right. I thought they did great. I mean, honestly, I'm a big fan of all three of these guys. Kenny is one of my probably top 10, if not five. I don't know. I don't really do rankings no more in my mind, no more for my favorites, but he's up there as one of my favorite wrestlers ever. So just like you mentioned, he's such a breath of fresh air. Like if there's anybody whose style and matches embodies what I truly believe this company is all about, is Kenny to me. Even more so than the Ospreay and some of the other people who have kind of taken over. Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega to me really embodies, what AEW to me has become, or literally what they when they're at their best, is usually having something to do with them. Of course, in Heyman Page too, and all the storytelling he does, but. Yeah, man, Kenny is great, and I thought this was not only a great moment for him, it was another excellent performance for a heel Ricochet. A lot of people wasn't sure that he could do this, and I think, honestly, he has done a great job of feeling like the complete opposite of whatever people may have started to think of him as a babyface. Anybody who thought he couldn't do much more than be that babyface guy who does cool shit, I think he's proven all of those people wrong. And and then Speedball is just, he's insanely good. I think you're 100% on the money, James. Like, from what I've gotten a chance to know about Speedball, he's one of those people that, unfortunately, as a character, some people may not ever really get him, because he just to me, I've never really seen him not be just a nice person. He's just a nice, they're just very good people. So it's really hard for me to see him actually even playing a character. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. His style in wrestling is all I really need from him a lot of times, because I just love infusing martial arts into professional wrestling. And somebody who's as good as him, and at both, he was great in Japan, he's great in Impact. So I just knew he was going to take the AEW like a fish to water if they let him do what he does best, and that's just go out there with other pros and deliver, great matches. And that's what this was. So honestly, I have a hard time rating these matches, because I don't know if my brain is just wired differently or what, but like I've been so spoiled for so long to watch basically all three of these guys in different ways do their thing, to watch them come together and have a beautiful match that didn't feel like 30 minutes, which is going to be the opposite next to another 30-minute match that we're going to talk about. So yeah, so I just think it was great. It was just incredible, best match of the night by far, really, honestly. And and then of course, teasing Okada and Omega. I mean, just go ahead. I think at this point we all know it's probably going to be all in, but if it's not, we know it's just take our money. We want to see it. Let these guys go in there and rekindle that flame that they have always been so good at. And I'm interested to see that because he's in America, will this be like an automatic? Will we have to look at Kenny Omega being the one who wins the series now? Because in Japan, Kenny had to fight for his life to beat Okada. So I can't wait to see how they decide to tell their story in this incarnation of their story. And it'll be cool to see what happens. And also, James, I got a question. If they do this, join the belts, are they just going to go ahead and make this the AEW Intercontinental Champion?
Well, they've got to, haven't they? They have got to.
Right?
They are missing an opportunity. If they called it the Continental, I am not happy. All right.
Right. Exactly.
Wants...
You just want to be different. Like, no, make it the Intercontinental Champion. I'm mad New Japan took my Intercontinental title away from me. So please, other companies,
Tony,
you can be
Tony can go, look, I didn't want to, but look, it makes sense. You know?
Right.
Like, what else
it just makes too much sense, man.
So scores out of 5. And then Gina, what would you give this match?
Yeah, this was really good. Again, one of my favorite matches of the night. I'm going to give it 4 3/4.
4 3/4. Jaxie?
Yeah, 4 3/4.
Monty?
Okay, I feel better about my score then because I thought I was too low. So 4 3/4.
You got to remember, this happened, the pay-per-view started at midnight. So at this point, this was 4 o'clock the next afternoon. So we were pretty tired, But again, this was excellent. But we know what all three can do. So we're waiting for that. So 4 3/4 all the way around. Then predictions, we all went Omega, all on 11. So it basically comes down to the main event. But I will say, well done, everybody. It's not being patronising, but out of 11 matches, we are all on 11. So I think even though some of us aren't going to get points, we deserve a bit of recognition there. So well done, everybody.
Well done, guys.
Yeah. I mean, whoever's winning it is not winning it easy, shall we say. But yeah, up next, it's Moxley putting his AEW World title on the line against Strickland in the main event. But the champion didn't come alone. He had Marina Shafir by his side, holding a briefcase containing what we assume is a title belt. We never really spoke about it. It might just be pancakes. It finally turned into a fight when Swerve started hitting forearms in the corner. They began to turn up the intensity a bit, but this wasn't a hardcore match, so they had to work within the confines of the rules. Just a few chair shots here and there. And of course, it wasn't bloodless either. The two put each other through hell, and it looked like Shafir was going to ruin it until Prince Nana got in the way. She took him out with a briefcase before Moxley accidentally hit her with a cutter. Moxley set up a ladder, as you do, and he ended up fighting on top of it until Swerve put Mox through the Spanish announce table with a double stomp. At this point, I actually did think, fuck, this could happen. Referee got taken out though with a chair a few minutes later, which led to Hangman Adam Page coming to the ring. He set up for the buckshot lariat as both men got up, but the other Death Riders stopped him. If he could choose who to hit, Hangman took out all three and then hit Deadeye on Mox. The Ops ran down to fight off the Death Riders. Strickland set Moxley up for the Swerve stomp and hit it flush, but then the lights went out before he could make the cover. The lights came on, and it was the Young Bucks. Yep, me too. And they hit Swerve with a BTE trigger. Referee called into the ring and made the count and declared Moxley the winner. I mean, Jaxie, I'm just glad it wasn't overbooked.
Just why? Just why? Like, first of all, Hangman, what were you coming out there really to do? I don't really understand. You seemed confused at the end yourself, so why? You just triggered everyone else to come out and fuck up with this match. Like ultimately, this whole match, why? And then with the Young Bucks making their return, okay, but why? I just, that's my take on this. Someone else go.
Come on now, it's not that bad. I mean, Monty, it's great to see the Bucks. I bet you were happy about that.
Oh man, they made my day, night, whatever it was when I watched it. Oh, thank God for Nick and Matt. I know, hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was over the moon. I was over the moon with this one. Oh my goodness, like
Good for
woo! Tony Khan, bro. Tony fucking Khan. Greatest of all time right now. Like, bro, that's what I
Should have seen
wanted.
this coming, really. Should have really
Just let
seen
him
this
cook.
coming, to be honest.
Let him cook.
That's what I wanted. Yes. Let him, bro. The entire timeline, the entire day. Oh, Swerve's gonna be a new champion. Swerve this, Swerve that. And some of this is my bias against Swerve coming out, but screw that right now. I don't even got anything to do with him. Everybody, all the AEW diehards, they knew it. My Discord, they knew it. They was like, yeah, no, it's over with. Don't worry about that. Moxley's done after the night. Hangman's gonna help him. I knew it as soon
Yeah,
as
you've not
everybody
helped.
else knew
You've not helped. You've not helped.
I knew it that it was perfect time to go with Moxley.
Oh.
Chaos, baby. All I wanted was chaos. I gave you logic there. I was like, you know what? It just don't really make sense, because Swerve beating him after all this. You mean tell me Swerve is how we pay all this Death Rider BS off? That was my logic going into it. But really, the truth of the matter is, I just wanted everybody to feel exactly how they felt Monday or whenever they watched the show and seen how it happened. Because it's a whole lot of people who sit around. And I remember when Cody lost that first night against Roman Reigns. A lot of WWE fans got trolled, this and this, woo woo woo. Yeah, look what you watched. Triple H look what he did to Cody. Well, nice. I'm so happy that 1 year to the day after Swerve became champion, he shit the bed. Thanks to my favorite EVPs. Shout out to the Young Bucks. I have never been so happy to see Mad Nick on my television screen. I'm man,
sure.
so beautifully done. And then, like you mentioned, John, you said, was it overbooked? Of course not. Come on, man. Have you not watched a Death Riders match over the last however many months it's been? Every single Moxley title match is overbooked. So I knew he was going to overbook this one. And just so happened to be overbooked in my favor. Oh, it was excellent. Oh,
Look,
man. I can't ask for much better than this, man. Like,
I'm sure the
oh, my
Bucks
God.
have got an explanation. All right, so that's something to look forward to. But Gina, are we letting our personal feelings get in the way because we want the end of
it
the
makes no sense.
Right, okay.
All right. It makes no sense. What, like, if you were going to bring the Young Bucks back, no offense, but it would have made sense for them to make an impact with that tag team match that was just thrown together because the original opponents weren't around. So they're going to make the Hurt Business look good. So how good would it have been for Matt and Nick to just come back and just beat the Hurt Business up and show them, okay, well, you might be the tag champs now because you've not had any formidable competition in the tag division, but guess who's back? Like, it would have made a hell of a lot of sense for it to have gone that way. I just don't understand because, even spoiler alert, you find out on Dynamite that like the Bucks didn't do it because they're friends with like Mox or anything like that. So what was the point? What was the point? You already had like the interruption of Hangman Page. Like, don't get me wrong, I am annoyed that I lost the prediction, but if you were still going to have Jox maintain the belt here, retain the belt here, then you already had enough tomfoolery with the rest of the Death Riders coming out, Hangman coming out, and us not knowing which one he was going to originally go for, whether he was going to go for Swerve or go for Mox. But then you had to add like it just made no sense to add the Young Bucks in there. It really didn't. You could have still had Mox win with the tomfoolery of all the others coming out, It would have just made more sense in my eyes to have the Young Bucks come out and hurt up the Hurt Business. So yeah, I'm not annoyed because I've lost this match. I'm annoyed because it doesn't make sense to me why the Bucks came back at that moment. So have Mox retain for all I care, that's fine. Keep the storyline going until we get Swerve back with the belt, that's fine. But like I'm so confused with Young Bucks getting themselves involved when they weren't doing it because they're friends with Mox either. So yeah, that's my view on it.
Well, at least one of us enjoyed it, I suppose. All right, so we'll do scores out of 5 then. Jaxie, what would you give this out of 5?
I don't want to be biased just because obviously I am a little bit sore that I lost this outcome as well. It is pretty hard though. I feel kind of bittersweet. I'm just gonna give it a 4.
Give it a 4. Monty, I hate to ask, what are you going to score it?
First of all, give me some grace here. I got to know somebody who listens to this entire podcast because I told them to listen, and I just want them to please, Zach. You sent me this message, and I'm going to read it because everything that's been said about this match just can be wrapped up right here. I don't have anything to say. Is what this is quote what he said. I don't have anything to say. I don't want to see another member of the Death Riders or the Young Bucks in the AEW ring again. John Moxley possibly has the worst reign since Jinder Mahal. I thought Tony Khan was a good booker. You know what I take Zach back?
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
5 stars, baby.
Oh, no. No.
Instant classic. Thank you, John Moxley, the best member of the Shield. Thank you, John Moxley. Death Riders for life.
Well, we've got Monty score then.
It's a 4.5 from me, James. It's a 4.5.
We'll move on. And you thought I was bad. We'll get onto that in a second. So it means predictions. Yes, James, Gina, and Jaxie went Swerve. Monty went Mox. So Monty, another AEW win and another perfect score.
Tony,
so congratulations.
Tony.
I will say next week it ain't AEW, and you won't win at WrestleMania. All right,
Death Riders for life.
Just to let you know.
Hey. This might feel better than Mania. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get there when we get there. Let me bask.
Oh,
John
yeah,
Moxley.
You can bask. You bask all right, my friend. You keep basking.
John Moxley.
He's basking too much, girls. I don't like it. So anyway, match of the night. Well, we know what the match of the night was for everybody. That wasn't Monty. So Jaxie, start us off. Who's your MVP and what's your rating? Good, I struggled.
Okay. Sorry, let me have a think. One sec.
That's right. I'll tell you who I've gone for because I don't normally go first. So my MVP was Megan Bain because out of everything, I think she's the one that, even in defeat, came off looking well. Match triple threat, and my rating, I give it an 8. And if anybody knows me, that is a really low score.
Okay. I'm gonna copy you and go Megan Bain. I think that's quite satisfying. She did kind of really come out the match still looking great. So yeah, I'm gonna give that to her. Match of the night, yeah, triple threat. Overall, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I feel like it could have been an 8, but I've downgraded it because of the length as well, and the unnecessary of certain matches.
Yeah. Gina, who's your MVP and what's your score?
Do you know what? I'm gonna give my MVP. I'm gonna give it to Adam Cole for winning his first AEW belt. I'm gonna give him that recognition. Triple threat is obviously match of the night. Overall score, I agree. Like the pay-per-view worthy matches were great, but there were so many matches on here that didn't need to be on here. So I am gonna give it a 7.5.
7.5. And Monty, same to you, sir.
Call me Renee because I love John Moxley, MVP. John Moxley. And match of the night, obviously, John Moxley. Swerve, John Moxley. Score. At first, I was going to give it a 7.5, man. But that ending. Whew. John Moxley. 8.5. 9. Maybe even a 10. That might have been the greatest AEW main event in history. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I don't think they can do much better than that. Like, really? You sure they can do better than that for All In? Like, it's in Texas. I might have to go see AEW, so I can see the Death Riders in person. Yeah, baby.
Okay, so we'll take that there. Dynamite notes afterwards. Moxley sent Shibata to sleep. The Bucks did it because it was a peace offering.
Right.
See, Monty,
makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
they're afraid of my guy John Moxley, so they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's help you out. We can work together, guys. This is not an obvious setup for anarchy in the arena or anything
No,
like that. No,
no.
we truly want to help you because we're afraid of you. And
There
also,
was
you know what? That was for you too, Hangman, because you hate Swerve. That's also what they said.
well, Omega interrupted. He said they're for the Dookie. So I mean, he was serious.
And they
Calm
called
down,
him
Kenny.
Cooks too, by the
Oh
way.
my god. Swerve sent them away in his match with Pac. Disaster struck as Pac was injured on the buckle bomb.
Terrible look, bro.
Honestly, Monty, why do people keep hitting the buckle bomb? Like, even back from Sting. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work, does it?
Yep.
It's not worthwhile. Balor, even, fuck's sake. Like,
Right,
come on.
Balor, yeah, Sting, Balor. Like at this point, that's one of the moves that we don't have to talk about it, but it's definitely one of those silent. We need to retire it. It's just no point. Like just either do a regular power bomb, leave it alone. It just seems to fail at the worst possible time, and then it just sucks for Pac because not only I know he's been in it, but he's kind of been in and out with the Death Riders anyway, and then like with the visa issues and then past injuries. Like if you really think about his AEW run, Pac has had awesome moments and some great matches, but he could be so much bigger if things like this not happen. And then like we mentioned earlier with the Jay White instance, it really sucks when you think about how loaded AEW's roster is, how often they get hit with the injury bug. And we know stuff like Kevin Owens just happened. Like I hate to see it happen in general, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, it really, 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 really sucks, especially for somebody like Pac who just seemed to have terrible luck right now.
Right now, at night, Speedball, Briscoe, and Ospreay beat Ricochet, the Beast Mortals, Leo Rush, and Action Andretti, and won 100k each. Good for them. MJF could join the Hurt, not business. All he needed was 3 thumbs up. Shelton Benjamin gave him the thumbs down. Jaxie, where's this leading to? Are they going to accept MJF in or what? I don't.
I
Again,
don't know. I mean, in some way, like I see MVP and MJF like being like a great sort of like talkative team together and stuff, and it would be intriguing to see what they could do together. But I don't know. I don't know where this is meant to be leading if he's not being accepted by Bobby and Shelton. And at this point, I don't really want any disarray or fuckery to come from MJF to like come in between the Hurt Syndicate, because they are not only just sort of like newly debuted, but like a new sort of formidable team. But MJF screws everyone, you know?
yeah.
So I don't really know if I want the disarray to come to like that faction right now. So I hope that they stay strong as a team. And if one of them doesn't vote him in, then, they all stick to that. So I don't know what to make of this, though, or where it's going to lead to.
Yeah, no, I have no idea either. Tony Storm watched this battle, watched the battle closely, the matchup between Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa. Statlander got the win, but Tony Storm on commentary, team tits and everything like that, fucking brilliant. Chris Jericho's leaving. Yeah, we're finally getting what we want. And in the main event, Hook and Joe defeated Utah and Claudio by submission, but I've never seen someone come back from a chair shot the way Hook took that and then recovered by the end of the episode. And that was it. So before we finish, Gina, I'll give you the chance. What have you thought of AEW? We've talked about a few dynamites and collisions. What you thought of Dynasty? Like we said, as we head to Double or Nothing, then of course All In.
I mean, I am still thinking about how Hook recovered from that chair shot too. Like it wasn't just, one of the standard shots to the ribs where you can see that the wrestlers put their hand on the other side of the chair to, give a little less impact, I guess. Like he fully got like F5'd or whatever on that thing. But then he stood up fine after. He was fine, people. So
It's fine. No way.
yeah. The main thing that I have to say about AEW right now is that I'm more invested in the women's storylines. The main storyline that I am invested in with the male division is Swerve's division. I don't really care. Well, I say I don't really care about the TNT title. I'm hoping that changes now that Adam Cole has the belt. And it's the same with the Hurt business. I get they've got some sort of storyline going on with MJF, but I'm sorry, please, can we have like the tag teams doing tag team matches, not trios matches with MJF at the moment. Like, it's just annoying because we have the trios champs who hardly have trios matches. And if they do, it's not the trios champs. They always change it up, and Mox is in there, so it's not for their belts. So yeah, if they could just try and tidy some stuff up, it could become very interesting. I do look forward to the next All In event. Is it All In? Yeah, All In. But regardless, yeah, they need to do better still for me. Because they're still not on WWE level in my eyes.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think that would be fair to say. So that is it. Don't forget across all social media, X at the WNR Podcast, I'm at the WNR Pod. James, you can find the entire WNR team on the banner. Also now on Blue Sky, WNR Podcast, and Reddit. Jackson, where can people find and follow you?
I'm across X, Twitch, and Instagram at Jaxie Scarlett.
Monty?
At Man Monty Pod on Twitter. You might find me posting a Death Riders highlight tape or something. I don't know. We'll see.
And of course, Gina.
You can find me at Purple Pain on Twitch, X, YouTube, wherever.
Yeah. Local high street, wherever. Also on Facebook and Instagram, send us an email, the podcast@gmail.com, YouTube podcast. Got the same time on YouTube, they do SoundCloud on your phone, also Spotify and iTunes, where you can download, subscribe, rate, and review there. So that is it. Our next episode is next weekend. It will be Saturday night, hopefully live. We're going to try and go live Saturday night. And Jaxie, you missed out at SummerSlam, and you're going to finally partake in the quiz, and this quiz is going to be at WrestleMania. I bet you can't fucking wait.
What quiz is this? I'm this is being sprung on me. I feel like completely unprepared, and so if I fail, this is completely your fault already.
I'm glad you're going to enjoy it. We've also got the predictions as well. Monty, you've promised that you're going to beat me next week, so we're going to do both night predictions on Saturday night. So I hope you're going to be ready.
Oh, I mean, hey, honestly, the way I've been looking right now, I mean, you gonna have to get on my level, right? The way I'm feeling right now. I mean, come on now. I'm the one who picked Moxley. Like, come on, man. You got to step your game up. No, I'm just playing. You know, I'm looking forward to it overall. It's an exciting time, but you know, I must say, Triple H is giving us 14 matches, a lot of room for error. I know we just got like 12 or 11 straight here, but I don't know, man. This is gonna be tough, but I'm not backing down. I that's my goal. If I lose this, wait till All In predictions. I ain't gonna give a shit.
I should say as well, actually, that I didn't do the prediction scores because I think you just got carried away with yourself. But if I have a look now quickly,
I'm the greatest of all time. Just go ahead and tell them.
I'll try and get the scores because I know in the bonus league, annoyingly, you've gone ahead now as well. Which again,
I'm your prediction chief.
I don't know how you do that.
The tribal prediction chief, right here. What I feel like. I need a wise. Come on, Gina.
To knock Monty off of his throne, man.
Gina, I was going to say, Gina, you thought I was bad, and now Monty's getting. You see what Monty's like?
I offer her to be my wise woman, but now she hating. So I just do it alone.
Nah, you stole my G site, Monty,
and I'm not giving it back until WrestleMania. We had a deal,
asshole.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. That's some issues there, Monty. I'll tell you about that. Prediction league then. So it means Monty is on 13. I'm on 11. Jaxie on 10. Gina on 8. And of course, next weekend as well will be Stand and Deliver. So there'll be bonus points on the line there in AEW. Monty on 2, Gina on 1, Jaxie and James on 0. So hopefully we can pick it up. And then with Monty, you're doing double duty next weekend, my friend, because then Sunday we'll do the Stand and Deliver review with the standard NXT update. So, I mean, what a weekend that will be. But until then, I've been James Williams, was joined by the fantastic Jaxie Scarlett. Jaxie, I never thought I'd be on your side here, but we really need to do something about AEW. Maybe get together and do some homework.
We do. I really need to rethink like my strategy here. But I mean, I had a good one going forward all the way up until the very end. Majorly pissed here, but they threw us a curveball, and you know I'm gonna come back fighting next time.
Yeah, that's the spirit. You do that. And of course, the mind of Monty. And Monty, you're getting insufferable, man. And again, I'm so pleased I can say that to someone.
I'm the king of the world.
And of course, the genius of Gina. Like I said, you need to get that G site back, especially for next weekend. I don't mind losing as long as Monty doesn't win.
Trust me, I feel the
Hey,
exact same at this point. After today, I just need anybody else to win. Ideally
hey,
me, but I just need anybody else to win.
Yeah.
get that hate out your heart.
Well, that is it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.